name is Josh Williams. I'm the curator here at Historic Washington State Park, and we're talking today about one of the historic structures that's here at our park in Washington, Arkansas. And that structure is this is a painting of it actually right in front of me. It's called the Brunson House. It was owned by a gentleman named Dr. Brunson, who lived in the county, Hempstead County, right before the Civil War. And he built this particular house in the community of Columbus, which is about roughly 10 miles northwest of Washington, was where it was located. It's an agrarian community. Most of them were all planters and farmers that lived there, smaller than Washington. But he built this house right before the Civil War, right about 1860. And again, the house in its current condition does not look like this. But in order to save it, it was moved from the community of Columbus and moved here to Washington and put on a piece of land where another historic house was located to help us, rebuild the community and restore it so people like you can see it today, how it was back in its heyday in the mid-19th century. But as I say, this is the house right here, based off a photograph that was taken of it. But very much a very large house, as you can see here, with Italianate decorations on it. It has the arches, kind of triumphal arches on the front. It's kind of a mixture between Greek Revival and Italianate because it's symmetrical with a room on either side of the main hallway. There's a central hallway. Functionality, helping with air conditioning and breeze, so forth. At the same time being symmetrical, keeping a balance left and right. But then you have the Italianate with a little more decorative trim. All across the top, right at the edge of the roof line right there, and even some of these arches have some of that more decoration with it that you would see, not see with just plain Greek Revival. But there's also wings on the side here. Dr. Brunson, as I said, was a doctor. He served during the Civil War. He later came back to this, but he lost the house, the family did, due to back taxes there in Columbus. One of the stories that's associated with this house is, of course, that during Reconstruction, after the period right after the Civil War, there was a fairly appointed postal worker there in the town of Columbus, the postmaster. Well, apparently him and Dr. Brunson got apparently into some sort of fight, and Dr. Brunson was shot during that and was wounded. I forgot what actually happened to the postal worker. I'm not for sure. I don't know if he died or survived. But anyway, the federal troops in the area at the time, the 12th Michigan, put him under house arrest in his own house. And during that time, while he's being cared for, because again, he's wounded at this time, his daughter basically was distracting the soldiers the whole time, and he apparently jumped out of one of these windows. We're not exactly for sure where the bedroom was located, probably in the back right in here. But he jumped out one of those windows, got on a horse, the story goes, and went out to California and made a new life for himself. His daughter basically says, well, he's been gone for 2 days. So by the time they found out. But that's kind of the history of it. Again, it's a reflection of an agrarian society, and it was more of a larger house that had a large farm associated with it. And that's what we're looking at too, is exactly what we're going to do with it, wanting to restore this. And now kind of in relation to that information and everything, I want to give it over to our historian, Lita Spears. She can talk about ways you can communicate with the park and find out updates and so forth on this project.
My name is Lita Spears. I'm the park historian, and we have been researching ways to bring the Brunson House back into its majestic appearance it had originally. As Josh mentioned, there was a very large central hallway. It must have been very ornate and very majestic in appearance. We want to do something in keeping with the original structure of the house and its original context. And so we've got some ideas that have been brought before us, and we'd like to get your feedback on them. One of the ideas is to move the existing restaurant to this area. It has a large ground around it, and that we can enlarge our restaurant and our parking facility and have more room there to accommodate more people, especially on special event days. Another idea is to bring in something totally new to the park, something that doesn't exist here currently, because we do have a current restaurant, though sometimes it's inadequate for larger events. But one idea is a bed and breakfast. And in that idea, we would restore the rooms back to their original size and elegance, and that our guests would be able to have lodging here. There'd also be modern amenities included, obviously, but all restored furnishings so that you'd get the feel of a plantation life. And then the grounds around where it's sitting, because it is off of the main drag in Washington, would be restored to the agrarian lifestyle. So it would be just like spending an evening or a weekend at a plantation home before the war period. So in order to find out more about what you think and what you would like to see, we have put some information in our newsletter, which you can get by going to www.historicwashingtonstatepark.com/e-news. You can also link from there to the Survey Monkey, which we've created a survey available there for free. It's just a very few questions to let us know what you like, what you want, and what you would prefer to see when you come to Washington to add to your experience. So we hope you will link up with us there and give us your feedback.
Very good. And we're about to go outside and see the Brunson house.